I'm so excited because I have been honored to be able to know about Merit for many years and its extraordinary impact, not only in Chicago, but really on our field as a whole. But could you just kind of give us that quick, just kind of overarching sense for any of our audience who might not be familiar with Merit, the scope and focus for Merit?
Sure, happy always to talk about Merit. Merit has been around since 1979. We were started at a time when the Chicago public school system really pulled back their investment in arts education. And we were founded by two visionary leaders, two visionary women who said, talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. And so Merit was founded with that in mind. We have grown significantly over the last 40 years. We have approximately 3,000 students, and we work with them across the city and centrally in our West Loop location. It's everything, early childhood up through high school, and we are jazz and classically focused. And we really believe that, music offers lifelong transformation opportunities, and that's what we're pleased and what I'm pleased and honored to be doing every day.
As you look at the field today, where do you see kind of the, either the biggest challenges and or the biggest opportunities that just exist in music education? Are there any key things that you think, right now, here's what we're experiencing. This is the biggest challenge that we see for young people either accessing music education or engaging in it, or here is the biggest, we think opportunity that may be underutilized at this point.
Sure. Well, I think there are two components to that answer, right? One is related to the pandemic, and one is related to, I think, an overdue reckoning with, long-standing systemic racism, right, and just an inequity in the arts. And so at Merit, we're really, I think, digging deeply into both of those. So part of that is about the opportunity and the access provided by virtual instruction. So, prior to last winter, prior to mid-March, there was no virtual instruction happening at Merit School of Music. We pivoted within, 2 weeks in the interest of keeping our musical community whole and vibrant. Also, as you know, a few months after that, right, with the murder of George Floyd, a real need to continue to dig deeply into what I think has long been a fight for equity at Merit. And I think the intersection of those two challenges is really extraordinary work to do. It's the work that will, I think, shape the future and the next generation of musicians and arts leaders. And I think it also presents us with tremendous opportunity because there's such destabilization, there's such isolation due to the pandemic. I think people are so eager to connect and to make things better together through the arts. So I think that's where we're doing the work. And I think the last thing I would say is the best news, I think, is that it's not work that we are doing alone. You started your question by asking about the field. And if I think about the time that I've been active and that we've had the opportunity to work together, I think the conversations, rather than having multiple disparate conversations, the conversations are becoming one, right? And I think Sphinx Connect has been just extraordinary at bringing individuals from the League of American Orchestras, from the National Guild for Community Arts Education, bringing those groups together, right? And instead of having two separate conversations at two different conferences, or three different conferences, we're really having that conversation thanks to Sphinx Connect. And that's leading to some really, I think, really powerful collective impact work in lots of cities across the country.
Any sense or any kind of key aspects or ways that you view music schools being able to collaborate with orchestras or with a presenter? In other words, outside, if you will, of the direct field. Any examples of that that you think are really important?
Sure. Well, I think that part of what I've also seen is a much greater awareness within individuals, right, and within organizations that the work to do is what's important, right? The transformation that we seek for the young people that we exist to engage and to help really see them achieve success. I think that is work that has grounded people that I've worked closely with here in Chicago over many years to say what we need to do together is, it's too big for any one of us to do. It's bigger than my ego or my fundraising goal. And so what I've seen is a real spirit of generosity. I've had the pleasure of planning for and then co-leading the Chicago Musical Pathways Initiative, which is it's been tremendous over the last year and a half. We're in our second year. It's really about identifying young musicians from traditionally underrepresented communities that want to be professional musicians, helping them to achieve success in getting into top colleges and conservatories. And that's work that Merit is leading. It's funded with a generous grant by the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation. And we do that work with Chicago Youth Symphony Orchestras and with Chicago Sinfonietta and so many others. It's a 9-organization collaborative. And you mentioned orchestras. I've talked about the Sinfonietta. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra and the Nagani Music Institute are at that table, along with many smaller organizations too. So I'm talking about the structure, but what I'm really, I think the content of that work is that we all have a part to play, and we can build that work with the pathway, the developmental pathway in mind. And what Merit can bring to it is hosting of the staff for CMPI, right? But then those orchestras have tremendous resources in their roster, right? They're musicians, extraordinary performances, extraordinary teachers, and those are the things that we have to look at. What are our unique talents? How do we bring them around the table and work together on behalf of young people?